success story. That's not impossible to do, but there's been no effort, no like engineering, large-scale national effort to completely eliminate these horrible spots in this country, and not like make everything the same and perfect. That's not possible, but there's a level of poverty that exists in this country that's unmanageable. You should never be that poor if you're a part of a community. If you're a
Oh
part of a
yeah.
community that takes care of everybody, there's no reason why you have $175 billion to ship to Ukraine, but you don't have any money to make sure that no one exists below a certain level
Yeah,
of poverty.
humanity is flawed when that kind of shit happens. They shouldn't be helping these other countries. I don't know why we send money to Israel, Ukraine. I still don't understand why we. There's just people suffering here.
Right.
You know, there's people that have been taken advantage of in our own country, and it's like you don't want to be selfish, but if you don't take care, if you don't know your inventory, then your business is going to fail, right?
Right.
That is a law. If you don't take stock of your own inventory, your business will fail. And we don't have stock of our own inventory, and we don't have a healthy inventory. You know, it's just like I don't understand how it's so. The weird thing is, I start thinking, is that a radical idea?
It didn't used to be a radical idea, but it became a radical idea when people started floating about the idea that capitalism is evil, all capitalism is bad. There's all these people that have these utopian notions of how we should run our society.
Well, maybe it could be true at a certain point.
I think it's going to probably have to be true at a certain point because of AI. I think we're going to get to some weird point where the money seems like it's just ones and zeros. It's just numbers, and it's a bottleneck. The bottleneck of information, right? Because you can't have access to all the information if you have access to all the money. Then where's the money go?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But if we get to this point where we evolve past the state we're at now, where you can't trust people to not steal your money, where you can't trust people to not lie, where you can't trust people to not manipulate things and try for their own benefit. If human beings can eventually get to a place like that, then I could see a time in our evolved future where we don't need money, or when everybody has the same amount, where instead of having this desire to constantly acquire goods and constantly acquire status and like prestige in the community, have the bigger house, the bigger, if that completely goes away and human beings really are one hive mind, I could see where we could equally share resources.
Yeah.
But that's like
All right. So first YouTube video on the channel. Just want to go over how I found that trade and what kind of confirmations that I saw be put together in order for me to take it comfortably and hold, and just the things that I look out for before I enter, and how I chart my levels, and what my idea of a first trim is, and just kind of the process of what I do before I get into a trade, right? So I marked out here earlier that this was my entry on SPX, and then for SPY, it was so first things first, I do want to say that in the pre-market, even before this 8:30 news candle on CPI, we had a mini, like, kind of trend line going. So I personally look out for something like that. It's usually a good day for me if there's a pre-market trend line developed. Now, also, I had seen this bottom one too, which ends up being a big player later on in the day. But I have I have seen this in conjunction with 5982 on SPX. So on SPX, the way I found this level, because this is based off of a trend line play, and in conjunction with SPX, this made this more of a higher probability trade to work out, right? So what I normally do in the morning is I chart my SPX first. Why? Because to me, SPX levels are a little bit stronger than SPY. Now, SPY I like to chart on the hourly, and I will on SPX too, but we're at such an all-time high that it's kind of hard to find it. So what I normally do is jump on the 15-minute chart. And here, I'll just kind of hide this for now. But what I had found here was that I'm just going to throw this line down here. I'm going to make it white and dotted. What I like to see is a previous resistance turn support. Is that where it was? So you have this resistance and this breakout of the resistance and the retest. So you get this top meeting this bottom. To me, that's a level to watch out for. Again, later confirmed by here and here. Here, let me just mark it out a little bit. So here, right? Some people would call that a zone. This break and retest and a flush. And this touch here for a bigger bounce, right? So to me, that was huge to look out for the day. All right, let's see where we started. We started on this candle right here. So let's just remove all this. And now you can see why that was a level for me, right? The market opened, and I guess we could do the replay. This is still pre-market. Market opened and just kind of danced around. And then we have this flush on this 10:05 candle, right? And I'll switch this to the 5-minute chart. Where was it? Wait, I went too far. Right there. That's where I hopped in. So 950, right? 950 candle. Now, if you look on the 2-minute, you get an increasing amount of green volume touching the level. Not only are we spiking below a trend line, which is something like this, which most people like to get in somewhere like under the spike of the level, as opposed to getting in up here. So you kind of get like a spike under a trend line or a level, increasing red volume and this nice pin bar, and not only that, but a hold of a 5-minute candle above the level in conjunction with the SPX level and a good entry for this trend line. That's as far as that goes, right? So that was my whole reasoning of why SPX looked good and SPY. But when it comes to how I found my level on SPY, I will remove this for the time being. So I try to find things that are obvious. I should probably remove this too. And I'm just going to remove this because it's, no, we're still going to talk about that later. But if you could see right here, we got these two humps. And not only that, here, I'm going to draw it out right here, right? And then a breakout and retest like we spoke about before, creating a sort of support slash resistance is what people call it, right? What was previous resistance is now support. You get it confirmed again over here. Now I'm looking at this on the 5-minute chart, which makes it a little bit maybe easier, but I will be honest, I definitely chart mostly on the hourly. But what happens is here is that you still kind of see it, right? I wouldn't call this a break and retest confirmation. You would have to go in smaller time frames like the 5 and 15 to be sure, but this is definitely one right here. You get a break below level, come up, retest, and another flush. So that's what made me super confident about it, right? You get another one here, and you get another one here. Break, retest, flush. And this is a breakout, and we're waiting for the retest right here. Also trend line, and then you get the move. So unless it seems obvious, I really wouldn't go for it. But uh, that is pretty much why I took the trade. It had its confluences. It was there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, most days it's just one confluence, but this one had SPX, trend line, plus SPY, and we were kind of right off the open, right? We haven't fully met a first technical yet. To me, the first technical would have either been this reject or the trend line, and we ended up touching here, reacting well. I mean, you could just see it right here on this candle. It's not even a fully finished candle, and we got a good amount of green volume. You know, this is the stuff you kind of want to see when you are about to enter a trade. And yeah, I guess that was all I was looking for on a Friday. I try not to stretch myself out thin. One, what did we just say? Volume. And where was this candle at? Look, a spike under a level. We came up and look, we just trended throughout the day. Huge player at the end of the day. Now this doesn't look like anything, right? Coming into the day, like this is more of a trend line, but man, I mean, this is something I could talk about, but you have to follow me more for that. If you want more lessons and teachings, follow my Patreon and learn together. On to the next one. Follow and subscribe.